Welcome boys and girls from YouTube. My name is Sloth, this is Sloth Forge, and thanks a lot for stopping by on today's video. Now, I hope that you had a good start into Season 2, and I really hope that you still enjoy the game so much as much as I do, because I enjoy the game so much, and I always love the first couple of days or weeks into a new season. In those seasonal games, they always feel quite special, and it is always so much fun. Now we have to build so many new teams. Also, there is some new mechanics in the game, also some new content as well. So yeah, this is why I always enjoy when a new season begins. And yeah, I hope that you do so as well. Now, let's get into this. In today's video, I want to showcase you my 3 domain teams for the 3 elemental domains. And those teams are 100% free-to-play friendly once again, so you can easily rebuild those teams. Also, are those teams very bad on purpose? What do I mean by this? If we look at their gear, those heroes are using some very bad gear sets, or gear in general. As you can see, I'm not upgrading all of those legendary items to plus 20. Some of those are only at plus 12. Also, am I using a lot of epic gear as well? So there is a lot of room for improvement. Also, no stat bonuses here as well, or set bonuses as well. So a lot of room for improvement. And I'm very sure that all of you have better gear to play around with. Also, did I not use any other additional buffs? So my Psychic Core is at level 0, or it is nearly at the beginning. As you can see, only a couple of skills into level 2, while I could here increase their stats by a lot as well. Same, by the way, with my island buffs. Here I'm also using only one single buff, only the first buff, and only at level 1, I think. Exactly. So yeah, once again, here is a lot of room for improvement as well. So when you rebuild those teams, you are guaranteed to have better results than I do. So if I barely clear stage 12, then you have no problems at all to clear stage 12 with the exact same team. I'm very confident about this. So now let's get into this. Also, I'm nearly using no talents as well, like only level 1 or 12, at 1 or 2. Sometimes I'm not using a talent at all on those heroes, so here as well is a lot of room for improvement. Now, let's talk about the team. First, the fire domain team. And yeah, let's talk about the boss first, real quick. This boss, it is just the same as it used to be in Season 1. Just to recap it real fast, real quick. He once again brings those very annoying burn debuffs, which deal a good amount of damage. And then he also has this ultimate, the Blazing Storm, which deals insane amount of damage. Like, this deals so much damage. And if you don't bring attack penalty, then this will very often just one-shot your team. It will nearly always kill someone. Or, of course, if you bring very good shields, for example, this works good as well. Or increased defense buffs help a lot as well. But I think the easiest way to play around this ultimate is to bring attack penalty. And also, of course, if you cleanse those burn debuffs before the boss activates the Blazing Storm, then he also deals way less damage with the Blazing Storm as well. And yeah, that's it pretty much. So what are we doing here in this team? We have 2 DPS heroes. We are using Vidimir and Rava, but they are not best in slot, not even close. Even when it comes to free-to-play heroes, there are better options. Now let me showcase you 2 heroes real quick. Bledin and Girthen. Those 2 heroes are even better nowadays than Vidimir and Rava. Now, not for all content. When it comes to AoE content, we still will use Vidimir and Rava, but for single target content, especially for killing bosses, those 2 heroes, Bledin and Girthen, are way stronger. But now I'm not using them in this team because they are from Season 2, and maybe not every one of you has those heroes, but if you have those 2 heroes, then you can just use them instead of Vidimir and Rava, and you will have an even easier time. Now, next we are using Nathaniel because he can cleanse some, or he can remove some debuffs with his battle skill. And yeah, just in general, he places some good shields, he heals a little bit. He's the perfect hero for the Aurelion West. Yeah, this is why we are using Nathaniel. Then we are using Catherine. She brings debuff immunity, which sometimes is quite useful, or obviously it is quite useful to mitigate those burn debuffs. Also, she has a very good heal as well. She can bring a little bit of defense up, single target. So, just in general, a very strong hero. But especially when it comes to Catherine, you should keep in mind that soon, in a couple of days from now on, all of us will 100% get Jillian as well. And Jillian is just a better version of Catherine in my opinion. So once you have Jillian, just use Jillian here instead of Catherine, and you will have an even easier time. And then for the final hero, I am using Vinyara, but I don't like Vinyara so much, to be honest with you, because there are some problems. She first inflicts the hero with Frozen as well, which makes it even harder to properly time our teams, because, yeah, sometimes she inflicts the Frozen debuff, sometimes not. So it is very, very hard to 100% correctly time our teams. And also does she bring an ultimate energy reduction effect on her ultimate as well. So it is even harder to properly time around those two skills. And the main problem is that since I am using very bad gear, as you can see, the problem is that I have very big problems to reach the recommended accuracy. So sometimes she just does not hit with the Frozen, sometimes she does not reduce the ultimate energy, sometimes she does. So it is very, very hard to 100% correctly time it with this particular team. But yeah, I'm just using all of those heroes on full auto. As you can see, by the way, also are we not using any talents on this hero here as well. So yeah, just to say this one last time, I'm sorry guys. So much room for improvement. All of you who rebuild those teams will have way better stats. I'm absolutely sure about this. And therefore, I can barely clear stage 12 with this team. I have a win rate of like 30% with this particular team. Just to showcase you the timings as well real quick. Like a 30% win rate or 35%, something like this. But yeah, if I had better stats, I would have no problem. The problem is like always that Vidimir and Rava, they just die too early. But I'm very sure with better gear, with better heals from Catherine and Nathaniel, that this would be no problem as well. So yeah, and this is the timing. I'm only using a 14 seconds first cast and 19 seconds recast timer on Vinyara, which is not perfect. This is definitely not ideal, but it worked like in 1 out of 3 battles. So yeah, you can try to copy this team for your flame domain. Now next, let's get to the frost domain. Oh, let me look at my notes real quick. Yeah, I think that's it. Let's get to the frost domain. Now when it comes to the frost domain, this was the easiest domain in my opinion. And here once again we are using a 100% free-to-play team with even worse gear. As you can see, we are using 2 heroes who are nearly fully built in only epic gear, and then those heroes here with, yeah, like 50%. So yeah, a lot of room for improvement. You can have way easier time than I do, and yeah, you should have no problems with clearing stage 12 of all 3 of those domains. Now this is the team. As you can see, these are the skill timings. They are not mandatory. It is actually quite hard to properly time your team here once again. The reason is because now the boss, he brings the entangled control effect, which then stuns our team, but only with a 60% chance and up to 5 times. So it is very random, or yeah, it is quite random, and it is nearly impossible to stay perfectly in sync. The only way to stay in sync here would to bring enough resistance, which we definitely won't do so early on in the game. So yeah, just play around it or just live with it. Sometimes, now the idea of those skill timings here is that Nimbus inflicts a defense penalty, and then Shargol and Shalta can deal a very good amount of damage. But yeah, sometimes it just gets out of sync, and then it is what it is. You will still clear this dungeon with this exact team, with those exact stats, on stage 12 without a problem. You have like 1 minute left with those stats. So yeah, I'm absolutely sure here as well that you will have a way easier time than I did with the Frost domain. Now, let's go to the last domain, to the Tempest domain. And honestly, this was by far, the Tempest domain, this was by far the hardest domain for me. And I was not able to clear stage 12 with a 100% free-to-play friendly team. Yet, I'm absolutely sure all of you will clear stage 12 with the team that I'm going to show you now. But the problem was, if I want to keep a team 100% free-to-play friendly, I cannot use any legendary hero. I cannot use Premza, I cannot use Levanis, I can only use legendary heroes like Drist, for example, who I know that we all were 100% able to get him, or for example Vinyara or Torrin. Those heroes, they are 100% free-to-play friendly. But when it comes to those 100, or of course Epic Heroes, I consider Epic Heroes as 100% free-to-play friendly as well. But the problem is that we did not ever get an extremely strong legendary hero who is good at dealing AoE damage. The best one right now is Drizzt, I think, and he's decent, but he is not strong enough. The main problem with Drizzt is that he is melee as well, so it is very hard to keep him alive actually. This is the main problem with Drizzt. So yeah, this is the main problem. We have some very strong options for AoE damage. We have Vidimir. We have also, in theory, we could use Sigrid. But the problem is that we have to kill those 5 dragons that the boss spawns. And we have a very short period of time to kill those dragons. So we really want to bring 2 strong DPS heroes here. Because Vidimir, most of the time, he cannot kill those heroes in time. Or those 5 dragons in time. So this is why we just want to bring a second DPS hero. But here, this is the good news. You can use any AoE DPS hero that you have. As I said, you can use Levanes, you can use Premza, you can use Losenya, you can use Auster, you could probably even use Vikana or so. Look, you can use Durango, you can use every hero, every legendary hero who can deal a relatively good amount of AoE damage, and you will have no problem with clearing stage 12 here of this dungeon. But as I said, if you have not a single strong AoE DPS legendary hero, then you can just use this team here that I've been using, and then you can just farm stage 10, or if you have better gear, you should probably be able to farm stage 11 as well. But when it comes to stage 12, your Vidimir will most likely deal not enough damage. But of course, maybe you can deal enough damage if you have better gear, if you have better psychical buffs, and so on. And yeah, that's it pretty much. Those are the skill timings. As you can see, they are all on default, so yeah. That's it pretty much. Now, in theory, you could, for example, try to time Urava, so he always hits before Vidimir. The problem is that they have different recast timings, and yeah, I just tried it with boss variants, and there was nearly no difference, so I just kept all on 100% default. Of course, once we have access to the Puppeteer's Inspiration set, all those recast timings will change by a lot, but until now, I'm just using those default recast timers, and it is no problem. Also, when we talk about those artifacts real quick, I know, for example, this artifact here is definitely not free-to-play friendly. Many of you don't have this, but you absolutely do not need this as well. You can just use here the Whisper of the Consumer as well, and it works just as good, or nearly as good, as the Ring of Winter on Vidimir works. Of course, the Ring of Winter is very strong, but yeah, you can absolutely use the Whisper of the Consumer here as well. And I think that's it pretty much. I really hope that I've mentioned everything. Now let me look at my notes once again real quick. That also that you can use food, I hope. It also helps a lot, especially if you just struggle by a little bit, if you can barely survive, or if you nearly kill the boss, but then your time runs out, for example, then just use buff food and it should do the trick, most likely. And yeah, I hope that's it. Now I've talked about the positioning, I hope. I really hope. Now let me show you the lightning team once again. Yeah. This is the lightning team, and here no, sorry guys. Not the frost domain team. The lightning domain team, but the lightning team that we are using in the frost domain. I'm so sorry guys. Because here this positioning is very important. We want this particular positioning because we want everyone to stay in the battle skill range of Nathaniel and in the battle skill range of Robert as well. So this is why we want to place Shralta exactly here, so that then once we are at the boss stage, then all of those heroes, except for Nimbus, will stay in both battle skills, Robert's and Nathaniel's, which just helps us a lot to survive. That's it pretty much. Your Nimbus will still be able to survive, and yeah. But this is the positioning that I would highly recommend you to use, and then you have no problems with this team, and with this team like with every other team as well. If you have better versions, better legendary versions of those heroes, you can upgrade those teams easily and have even better results. And yeah, that's it pretty much. I hope that I've mentioned everything. By the way, there's one thing I want to mention once again real quick. If you didn't vote yet, you can, by the way, if you didn't know this, you can vote on a daily basis for one content creator. And of course, as always, just to mention this once again, I would highly, highly appreciate if you vote for me. But of course, you can vote for whoever you want, but I would highly recommend you to vote for someone because you can win some small rewards here as well. And of course, I would highly appreciate if you vote for me. But, well, that's it for today's video. Thank you very much for stopping by, and see you in the next one.